Good evening, and thank you for joining us for tonight's webinar called You've Been Admitted, Now What? Before we jump into tonight's presentation, we would like to give our attendees a minute or two to join us. There will be brief silence while we wait. Thank you. Hello and good evening. My name is Ricky Hill, and I am the e-recruiter at the University of California, Merced. I will also be serving as your moderator for tonight. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's presentation of You've Been Admitted, Now What? Let's go over a few housekeeping items before we get started. If you'd like to change your volume, you can use the audio settings in the lower left corner of your screen. Click the button and a dialog box will appear on your screen. Make adjustments as needed. If you would like to raise your hand, click on the hand icon at the bottom of your screen. It will turn green. You can select that icon again to lower your hand. If you would like to participate in the question and answer, you can use the question and answer button at the bottom of your screen. Type in your question into the box and click send. Lastly, there is a link at the top of your screen that allows you to adjust the size of your window. Just click on View Options. Please note that we do record our webinars and we make them available for you online to reference in the future. At this time, I would like to hand it over to tonight's speaker, Iona.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to join you all tonight. Congratulations on your admission to the University at California, Merced. This is an exciting time and such a huge achievement to you all. I know many of you are receiving your college admittances, and we appreciate you spending your evening to learn more about the University of California, Merced, and exploring our campus to see if we are the right fit for your collegiate experience. Again, my name is Iona Nee, and I'm one of the admissions advisors with our Office of Admissions, as well as an alumna of UC Merced. So again, tonight's webinar, the purpose of tonight's webinar is for you to learn more about your admissions and what that entails, as well as the cost to attend UC Merced or financial aid. We'll briefly talk about housing, as well as student life and more. So for many of you, you're probably wondering, where is UC Merced? So UC Merced is the newest and 10th addition to the University of California system. We opened up in 2005, so we are turning 15 years old this fall, and we are located in the heart of California. So we are literally in the center of our beautiful Golden State. As you can see, we are in the Northern California region. So you're probably wondering, for those of you in SoCal, how far is UC Merced? We are roughly 4 hours up north, give or take, depending on traffic, of course, leaving the LA area. We're about 2 hours south of our capital, Sacramento, 2 to 2.5 hours outside of the San Francisco Bay Area. And what really makes us unique is our proximity to Yosemite National Park. We are roughly 60 miles outside of the national park, and we're the only campus in the nation that has a partnership with Yosemite. So if you love the outdoors, you like to go hiking, exploring, you can actually be a park ranger there. We hire students to live and work there over summer, and we also have a 2-year program with Yosemite where you are guaranteed any Department of Interior job upon college graduation. And many of you who are closer to the coast are wondering, where is the nearest beach? Well, it'd be Santa Cruz, about 2 hours away. However, we do have a variety of bodies of water surrounding our beautiful campus. Next slide, please. This is a nice photo of our beautiful campus. As you can see, we have a small canal river flowing through campus, and about 10 minutes walking distance, we have what's called Lake Yosemite. So it is a very open, green, outdoorsy campus, and we're about 10 minutes outside of the city of Merced. So the city of Merced has around 80,000 people, and we offer the same amenities as any major city. Yes, there is a mall, there is a downtown area. It's a bit more of a historical, charming downtown area, as there was a former Air Force base in the area. And as you can see, our buildings are quite modern, very technologically savvy, as well as sustainable. Considering that we are built in the 21st century, we are truly the definition of a sustainable campus. This canal river actually helps control the AC system at the university. We have a huge water tower behind the engineering building you see here in this photo. That water tower collects all the water from this canal river, and overnight we chill the water and we let that cold, chilled water run through pipes around campus to naturally cool it down. Pretty exciting. Next slide, please. This is a nice snapshot of our undergraduate students. As you can see, we are the smallest UC campus with a little over 8,000 undergraduate students. So what does that mean for you all, and how does that benefit you? So what that means is over 90% of the resources, the support services on campus are geared for all of you undergraduate students. And on the top left, you can see a breakdown of our demographics. We are a diverse campus, and that's actually one of the reasons I decided to attend UC Merced. And it's exciting that we have a variety of students coming from all walks of life. And we are considered a Hispanic serving institution, and we are eligible to be an ANAPISI serving institution. ANAPISI means Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander serving institution. And in the top right, you can see that over 70% of our students are first generation, meaning that they are the first in their family to attend university. And you can also see a breakdown of where our students are studying, their respective disciplines. You can see an overwhelming amount are part of the school's social sciences, humanities, and arts. And engineering, natural sciences is a bit divided, and undeclared, which is where I come in. And another reason I attended Merced, and many students also attend Merced, is that none of our majors are impacted. So what does that mean? That means that it's not necessarily difficult to obtain your classes to graduate within 4 years. So if you're like me, exploring your first year and a half, trying to figure out which major you're most interested in, your passions lie, even though you're still exploring those couple of years, you can still graduate within 4 years, as long as you don't fail your classes. And because we're the smallest UC campus, you really obtain that liberal arts private school environment. You really get that personal interaction, that one-on-one attention. You really don't feel like you're just another number among 40,000 students. So many students like myself, and we have a few alumni on the webinar with us tonight. They'll be answering your questions at the end. They also attended Merced because they liked that small private school feeling, but just not at the cost of a private university. And then also lastly, you can see we have a nice breakdown that we are 50% male or 48% male and 51% female. Next slide, please. So what's exciting about for you all seniors or you incoming first year students is that you'll get to experience our 2020 project. So our huge expansion project will be complete by the time you move into our residence halls mid-August. So by this August, we will have our new Olympic-sized swimming pool. We will have our Center for Biomedical Science. We're adding more classroom buildings, wet laboratories, as well as residence halls. You can see here that little lake on campus. Fun fact, before this was UC Merced, this used to be a huge golf course. And then we bulldozed that golf course, and there goes UC Merced. And then you can also see in the residence halls, we have tennis courts, basketball courts. Up about a year and a half ago, we finished building our second dining center on campus. So a variety of nice places for you to eat on campus. We don't just have 2 dining centers, but we have our own Lantern Cafe in the library, and there are some food vendors around campus as well. And because we are built or in the San Joaquin Valley, where a majority of the food you eat is produced, we even have our own farmers market on campus. Really exciting. And we're also adding our huge conference center by fall. So again, seniors, you'll get to experience UC Merced at what it's intended to be for the time being. We do own over 1,000 acres, and we tend to be built on over 200 acres by this fall. Next slide, please. So I hope this slide looks familiar to you all, hopefully. So this is your UC Merced portal. This is essentially your best friend. This is where your primary connection to everything you need to know about your admissions, as well as your financial aid, course registration. This is the primary way for our university to correspond with our applicants. We do not call you. We just reach out to you via your portal as well as via email. Next slide, please. And hopefully you haven't experienced any trouble claiming your UC Merced Net ID. If you have, please be aware that you must input your information as exactly as you reported on your UC application. So however you input your full name, you must do so here, as well as your date of birth. And if you're unsure where to obtain your application ID number, you can actually search for the email we sent you that acknowledge that we received your application, or you can log back into your UC application to obtain that 7-digit ID that starts with 7. And just be aware, if you have multiple last names, you want to try using only the first last name, as some students have experienced issues there. Next slide, please. And this is the interface of your portal. This is where you found out, yay, you're admitted. You have that awesome video of Rufus, our mascot, the bobcat, dancing, welcoming you, congratulating you. This is also where you can receive the most up-to-date news regarding events on campus, as well as your admission decision. And you can kind of see, you receive live tweets as well of any important dates and deadlines. Next slide, please. And then if you have had time to explore the portal, you may have noticed this checklist, and some of you are probably like, wow, there's a lot of requirements, a lot of items I need to complete. So if you are considering on attending UC Merced, or if you're trying to access your financial aid, you want to make sure that you're checking out and reviewing your checklist, because sometimes there are certain documents that are needed before you may receive your official financial aid package. And there's also important dates and deadlines, such as when to submit your official documents, such as your high school transcripts, or if you attended any community college courses, your community college transcripts, as well as any important forms pertinent to the financial aid process. And you'll see here green check marks. That means that they've been completed. A red X means that it has not been completed. And if you see a yellow caution sign, that means that it has been received yet but not reviewed by the respective office. And not just the admissions office, but as well as financial aid offices, requirements will be listed here. So I always encourage students, check this weekly, if not daily. Next slide, please. Have you ever seen cherry blossoms before? Not in anime? Well, I hope so. So at UC Merced, we have our own beautiful cherry blossom festival, as well as our cherry blossoms that align our entire academic quad. I was on campus recently, and they actually are in full bloom, so very beautiful to see the pink flowers, pink white flowers, kind of surrounding the academic area. Really relaxing vibe as you're walking from the library to your classroom, to lecture halls, to lab. But we do want to inform you that please have your contact information up to date. Make sure that your email address, your mailing address, as well as your telephone number, as again, the portal is really the only way that we can communicate with you, as well as your email. And you have the opportunity to update any of that by contacting our office, as well as through the portal. Next slide, please. All right, so you've been admitted, but what does that entail? What does that mean? So just be aware that if you haven't been admitted to the University of California, so if you've been admitted to any UC campus, know that your admission is provisional. So what does that mean? That means that you need to abide by our conditions of admissions to maintain that admission. So a popular, or I'd say one of our conditions of admissions is that you must pass all of your A through G courses with at least a 70% or C- or higher. So you need that passing grade to still be considered eligible for admissions. If you received a D and/or an F this past fall semester or this spring in any A through G course, even though it's beyond the minimum A through G requirements, you still must notify our campus. So in your UC Merced portal, there is on the right-hand side in applicant services, my course updates. This is where you notify our office if you withdrew any courses that you listed in the fall or spring semester, or if you failed, received a D or F in any of those courses. And I always tell students, do not omit it. Please tell us sooner rather than later. Because again, if you plan to commit to any UC campus, you must send your official transcripts to that respective campus. And we do review your transcript to make sure that it does reflect the courses as well as grades that you input in your UC application, since it is all self-reported. So just making sure that you're notifying your campus sooner rather than later. And we always do encourage you. I know senior year, you're having fun, you don't want to get senioritis, you don't want to kick back too much. You want to make sure that you're receiving grades similar to what you have been receiving throughout your 3 years of high school. So you want to continue to keep that competitive streak. Next slide, please. All right, so I hope you know the date, the last day to commit. So hopefully UC Merced will be your home for the next 4 years. So the last day to say yes, to commit, to submit your tent, to register is May 1st. And this tends to be the national deadline for many universities. And this is a photo during our we have a huge kind of event going on during move-in weekend where we have what's called the bridge crossing. It's a pretty big event for all incoming students. So we have our cheer team, we have a lot of our whole staff coming ready to support you all. But yes, May 1st, the last day to say yes, I want to commit to UC Merced. We hope to see you on campus in the fall. Next slide, please. All right, so why UC Merced? So as I mentioned, we're the newest addition to the UC system. So the University of California is the #1 public research institution in the nation. And as you can see, we have a lot of accolades. I won't go too much into that, but we are ranked very high in terms of financial aid. We actually ranked #1 in the nation for financial aid. So we have very generous financial aid packages. So UCM also stands for University Cash Money because we give a lot of money to our admin. And you can see here as well that we were University of the Year by Education Drive in 2018. We also got an A grade in housing. So again, we are a new campus, we're rapidly growing. Our dorms, our housing residence halls, they're very modern, technologically savvy. So again, you're gonna get all the AC, the heat. We even have our laundry system that emails, texts you when it's done. So yes, A grade, they're quite spacious. I lived in housing my first year. I enjoyed it. Very spacious, everything was furnished. We'll get more to that in a bit too. We go into housing. And then you can see UC Merced is #1 in the US for outperforming graduation rate expectations. So essentially, we are exceeding student outcomes. Because we are a smaller university, we do have the resources and support services to assist our students to make sure they're graduating within a timely manner, as well as high retention rates. And because we have that small student body, we really can oversaturate them with that support. I really felt that I really liked when I was a student, that I really got to know my professors by name. I'm still Facebook friends with them. I like that my director of admissions, my colleagues, the staff, I could really rub elbows with higher administration as well. And then you can also see here that we are recognized as one of the best public universities in the nation. So the top 300 best universities in the nation. So for being only 15 years old, it's pretty awesome how far we've come. And that's only within 15 years of existence. I cannot even imagine within the next decade how much further we'll go. Next slide, please. All right, and these are some other components on why UC Merced. So I do want to touch upon, because we're a new campus, we're not as established like some of our sister schools. So what's really exciting for you all is that you really have the opportunity to help build the culture and identity of UC Merced. So if we don't have a club that fits your interests, you can easily form that club. For example, my freshman year or my first year, someone created the Play-Doh Club. And I was like, wow, somebody loves Play-Doh to create a club that's dedicated to it. So you can literally create everything from underwater basket weaving. If there's some events on campus that you wish we had, again, you can go and create that. So Merced is really an opportunity for you to be a pioneer and really create the culture and identity in the future of the newest UC campus. So a huge component of our university is innovative technology. So what really makes the University of California system unique beyond education is research. A lot of the things that you utilize every single day has probably been patented or invented at the UC system. So you can see on the photo on the left, there is that drone. So we're actually the leader in drone activity in the UC system. I don't know if you know, but you actually can have the air rights to own the air above you. So you got to check in and see who owns the air above you. But at UC Merced, we're the only campus that has the air rights to own the air above us. So we do a lot of drone activity. We actually do a lot of research with solar energy because we are a sustainable campus. We have a huge solar panel field adjacent to campus. We actually had a huge $5 million grant we received from NASA. So we have a lot of wind tunnels we're working on campus, 3D lasers, CNC machines. And because we are a smaller university, it's not as competitive to obtain those research opportunities as well as employment and internships. So many students here, they're not waiting their senior, junior year to obtain research. As long as you're exceeding and doing well in your classes, your professor may reach out to you and say, hey, you're doing the top in your class, can you assist me? And I've actually, one of my former colleagues, that happened to him, and he was able to assist in research second semester of his freshman year. So interdisciplinary research, I already kind of touched up upon that, but at the UC, you're not just an expert within the field, your intended major, you really get a well-rounded breadth and knowledge of a variety of different disciplines. So I really liked that. Even though I studied political science here at UC Merced, I also was required to take a lot of STEM courses. So I did minor in environmental system science, where I was able to do research in the little river, that canal on campus, as well as a lake. My roommates, they were both engineers. They got to do research at Yosemite, so they had a few field trips through their classes. So again, when you're graduating from Merced, you're not just an expert within your respective major, but you have a nice knowledge of a variety of other programs. And then lastly, social mobility. So again, at UC, we care about your life and your success after university. We're not just like, hey, here's your UC degree, good luck in the world. We really want to make sure that you succeed and thrive post-graduation. So one of our awesome facts about our campus is that even though you're an alum, you actually still have access to our career center and alumni resources. So even though I've graduated years ago, I can still reach out to the career center and say, hey, is there a way you can assist me with, applying for more employment opportunities or graduate school? And also, we host a lot of events on campus. We know that Merced is a smaller city, and we understand that we don't have a lot of huge amenities like Disneyland or theme parks or huge venues. So we host over 700 events a year. Yes, 700. Everything from concerts on campus. If y'all know Coachella, I know it's been postponed. So if you can't go to Coachella, you can go to Cowchella here at UC Merced. We have our huge concert where we bring in traditional, a lot of hip hop, rap, electronic music artists to campus. We have a lot of other fun events like Sustainability Week, Pride Week. We even celebrate Halloween, where we have a carnival called Treats and Beats, as well as Dia de los Muertos. Also, we want to care about your health and your success. So during midterms and finals week, we bring in therapy dogs for you to hang out with. There's massages offered at the Student Health Center, as well as acupuncture. So any university you go to, there will always be that social scene. And at UC Merced, because we have so many events a year, sometimes as a student, I felt like, wow, I can't even participate in all of them. There's, you're at UC, you're going to be a full-time student. You may be working, participating in research. So you'll find that there's so much to do that you don't even have enough time. Next slide, please. And then just a little bit more about our centers and institutes. So as I mentioned, at Yosemite National Park, we do have our own research center there. And you can kind of see in the top left, we have our Merced Nanomaterial Center for Energy and Sensing, our UC Solar Institute. There's also a couple other institutes not listed here, but a huge part of the University of California is our Education Abroad program. So essentially that is a study abroad program. Myself and other colleagues that will be assisting with Q&A at the end have all participated in study abroad. And I always tell every first year, once they go into UC, consider the study abroad program, because I'll tell you this, that is every senior's biggest regret, is they didn't study abroad. Because think about it, and as cliche as it sounds, the world is your oyster. When you're at UC, you're not just at your respective campus. You have access to over 40 different programs abroad, everywhere from Latin America to Europe, Asia. We even have a semester at sea where you're like on a pseudo cruise ship traveling to different countries every week. And you don't just have a semester abroad, you can spend a full year abroad, you can do summer abroad. And you're not just studying abroad. We also have internships and employment opportunities abroad. So my senior year, I studied abroad in Rome, Italy, and I actually got an internship where I worked at Rome's largest farmers market. So I got a lot of free food, which was awesome, but I also got whichever work I did, I was able to receive course credit towards my minor in environmental science. And one of my good friends, she was studying anthropology here at UC Merced, and she was excavating caves in Belize for a summer. So again, you're not just studying abroad, but you're really getting that in the field, hands-on experience. And we also have another center in Washington, DC. So if you're interested in history, Politics, again, not exclusive to political science, but could be really for all majors. We have what's called UCDC in Washington, D.C. And then lastly, we have another program at our capital in Sacramento called UC Sacramento as well. So again, when you're at UC, you have all these opportunities, take advantage of it. Next slide, please. All right, so this is another kind of screenshot of how your portal looks. This is how you can access your financial aid. So on the right side, you can see a screenshot of applicant services and then my financial aid. So you want to make sure you click on that and it'll take you to this slide here. And then you'll want to click on overall status of financial aid. And once you click on overall status of financial aid, you want to make sure you're selecting for this upcoming academic year. So it'd be fall 2020 to fall 2021. And then once you select that school year, you can kind of go view your financial aid award, your award payments. It'll nicely break it down. Next slide, please. And I'll be discussing the next slide about what we're looking at, the cost to attend UC, because I know there are more cost-effective options. But as a public university, we want to make sure we're as accessible as possible. So just know that the cost to attend, that one average cost may not actually be your personal cost. Again, there are a lot of factors that go into the cost of attendance, such as gift aid. So gift aid is that financial aid, that free money that you're not having to pay back. So gift aid does not include loans. So when you're looking at cost of attendance, you want to deduct the amount of free money that you got, which would be grant money, which could be your Pell Grant, your Cal Grant. Our institution, we have what's called the Bobcat Grant. So you want to deduct your free money, your grant money, and any scholarships you received. Deduct that from the total cost, and that's essentially your net price. That's how much you're looking to pay out of pocket or take out via loans. Next slide, please. So this is a nice net price comparison and breakdown of the cost to attend UC Merced versus another California institution. And this is for this current school year. So as you can see in the blue grid, this is the cost to attend UC Merced. And this actually applies to the entire UC system, since it is the same. So the average cost to attend the University of California is roughly $30,000 to $36,000 per year. Now that is the total cost of attendance. And I know many of you are like, that is, there's more cost-effective options. So I will help you break down how to save money. Where there are certain areas in the total cost that we can save money, you may not necessarily be required to pay full price. So tuition and fees, unfortunately, we cannot make that any cheaper. It is what it is. So the total cost, tuition and fees for all UCs is roughly $13,000 to $14,000 per year. So fees, what does that include? That includes all of our fun events. So like I mentioned earlier, Coachella, when we bring comedians on campus, when we have our therapy dogs, that includes our tutoring center, our career center, all the support services, even our gym. We got 2 gyms on campus. So tuition and fees includes all of those resources. So I always tell students, take advantage of it because you're essentially paying for it through out of pocket or through your gift aid, your financial aid. Books and supplies, $1,000 per year. I know some of you are like, I can definitely find ways to cut down the cost. So yes, there are ways to cut down costs on books and supplies. The UC system is the second largest library in the nation. So what does that mean? If you attend any UC campus, you can borrow books from all the other UCs. And we actually ship it to your library in less than a week. You don't have to pay any shipping costs. So when I was a student, I saw that other campuses had books I needed for some of my classes. I was able to request it, and within a week they came. You save a lot of money that way. Also, you can rent books, borrow books from a bookstore. You don't necessarily need to buy the books. You would just loan the book out for the semester and return at the end of the year. Again, other ways you can download books, online books. Room and board, $17,000. So that is an average, and that's average for a double. So like UC Merced, we have a variety of different options, everything from a single, double, triple, and quadruple. If you're looking for a cheaper, more cost-effective option, I definitely recommend the quadruple and triple dorm rooms because again, it will be a little lower than 17 grand. And the 17 grand does include your meal plan as well. Transportation, $464. That really varies on how often you're traveling and where you're traveling to. So for me personally, I didn't have a car on campus, so I did save money on transportation costs. And if you don't have a car, we do have our university bus system called CatTrax, and CatTrax is a bus system that's part of your fees that takes you everywhere off campus to the Amtrak station, to our mall, our downtown area, to other housing, off-campus housing areas. And a lot of students carpool. So for me, growing up in SoCal, I always carpool with students. A lot of our students are coming from SoCal. And if we also have a little airport in Merced that does fly out of Los Angeles area. But I'd say the best way to save money is carpool with students from wherever regions you're originally from, as well as take Amtrak, Greyhound. Personal expenses, $1,700. So that includes your clothing, your shampoo, your conditioner. Again, it really varies on your personal lifestyle, how lavish you're living. Again, so that is an average. There are ways to save money. And then health insurance. This is another great way to really cut down the costs. So to attend UC, we require students to be insured. This is for all UC campuses. And you can actually get that $2,200 fee waived by submitting the health insurance waiver by the deadline. So if you have comparable insurance under your guardian or your parents, you can actually not have to pay that for the full year. So again, we'll cut down the cost. So the total to attend UC is $36,000 per year. So if you choose a cheaper housing option, you really manage and prioritize how you're going home, your transportation costs, as well as your personal expenses, and you cut down or you omit the health insurance waiver, your total cost may not even be nowhere between the $30,000 and $36,000. And that's not even including the financial aid you receive. So you can see in the bottom grid, you see the Pell Grant, the Cal Grant. So this is for a student with 0 estimated family contribution. So this is a comparison for a student that's part of the Blue and Gold Opportunity Plan. So Blue and Gold Opportunity Plan is if your household income is below $80,000 per year. So if your household income is below $80,000 per year, your tuition is debt-free. And this applies to all UCs. What? You're like, what? Tuition's debt-free? Yes, so tuition is debt-free. So this student is Blue and Gold eligible. So their tuition is covered for the whole year. And we actually give more money for students who live on campus. So the Bobcat Grant is specifically for on-campus housing. And then you can see here they got their health insurance waived. So their total gift aid, again, gift aid is the grant money, free money is $27,000. So that basically covers all tuition and a good chunk of housing. And the net price here is a little under $9,000. And that they would pay that out of pocket or through loans or outside scholarships or what have you. But again, the net price would not be as high because the student can find ways to kind of shave down that net price cost by selecting a cheaper housing option or dorm, as well as personal expenses. So I hope this was a nice breakdown. And I do want to mention our financial aid office, they do have nice videos for you to learn more at their respective website. Next slide, please. All right, quickly want to mention our Fiat Lux Scholars Pilot Program. So this is specifically for first-generation low-income students that are a California resident and have a 3.0 GPA or higher. So throughout the 4 years of your time at UC Merced, you will receive $80,000 gift aid, dispersed amongst 4 years. And the Fiat Lux Scholars Program, you'll actually receive an email on when for you to apply. So not everyone is eligible. You'll actually receive an email from them to encourage you to apply, to opt in, and you must submit your application, and then you will be notified if you are part of the Fiat Lux Scholars Program. And this is essentially kind of like our EAOP program, or Education Opportunities Program. So you are required to live with them in their respective living learning community on campus. They provide a lot of tutoring services as well as a lot of resources for high retention rates. I always encourage students, if you're invited to participate in this program, do so because you get great gift aid and a lot of assistance. Next slide, please. So another important part of receiving your financial aid package is a statement of legal residence. So depending on how you answer questions in the UC application regarding you and your parent citizenship, it may trigger our financial aid office, or I should say our registrar's office, to request further documentation. So if you are required to submit a statement of legal residence, you'll be notified in the checklist in your portal, and just be aware that you must submit it by May 5th, 2020, because you can save up to $15,000. So we are essentially deducting that non-resident tuition. So just making sure that you're not required to submit the statement of legal residence. And typically, and for those that aren't documented part of AB 540 or DACA, make sure to check this to see and confirm that you have submitted the proper documentation to deduct the non-resident tuition. Next slide, please. All right, so housing. So at UC Merced, our studies find that students who live on campus tend to do better academically and socially. And this is just a nice snapshot of one of our housing options. Next slide, please. And we actually do have a 2-year housing requirement for all first-year students. And as I said earlier, it's because our average GPA tends to be much higher for those who are living on campus. And we do have a variety of living, learning communities, and it is optional, you're not required. Definitely take advantage of it. And what's really unique about our university with our newest residence halls is that we actually have student support services, classrooms on the first floor, and then on the top floors will be the residence halls. So it kind of creates that community experience, that little town, that city feeling, where you have your shopping, your amenities at the bottom floors, and then housing above. Next slide, please. Just another nice snapshot. This could be you living in the beautiful dorms overlooking a relaxing lake on campus. And again, everything's furnished. The bed, the mattress, the desk, the chair. You literally just need to bring yourself, your clothes, maybe a fridge, a microwave. You never know when you're gonna be hungry. Probably a TV, a lot of gaming. We have a lot of gaming tournaments. You have your Netflix and relaxing time, yes. Next slide, please. Another cool snapshot to get an idea of how the dorms look. So we do provide you cabinet space. And again, if you're like me, I didn't know a single soul going to UC Merced at the time, so it was really nice moving to the dorms. I really had that community sense. And this really allows you to get involved in the university's opportunities. If you're like me, not a morning person, what's nice is your dorms are about no more than a 10 or 15-minute walking distance to the classrooms. If you don't like to cook, do not worry. We got 2 dining centers on campus. You can live in the dorms like I did, right next to the dining center and in between the gym, and it's just a quick walk to the classroom building. Also, if you're looking to get involved, if you're looking to play sports, be part of clubs, organizations, all of those events take place on campus. So it really is convenient for you to live on campus within your first 2 years. That way you can really experience that collegiate opportunities with going to office hours, taking advantage of getting to know your professors as well as your peers, and as well as our resources. Next slide, please. All right, so for housing, before you can apply for housing, just know that you have to submit your SIR, your statement of intent to register, by May 1st. If you submit your SIR prior to May 1st, you can actually start applying for housing within 24 hours. So literally the 24 hours after you submit your SIR, then you can begin your housing application. And just make sure that you are submitting your housing preference form. So your preference form is where you list your priorities. You know, if you're looking to live in a triple or quadruple, single, or if you're looking to be exempt from the 2-year housing requirement, you must submit it by June 1st. And you also want to make sure that you're being honest with yourself when you're submitting your roommate preference form. So if you're like me, I didn't know anyone, I just filled out a compatibility survey, so I was honest. I said, am I really a morning person? Am I really a night person? Do I like loud music? So again, be honest, and you'll find out your roommate pairing a few weeks to a month before move-in day. And if you know someone who's going to Merced, you can actually request each other. So that's another good fact as well. Next slide, please. Just another nice screenshot of our beautiful campus. This is the academic walk where we have more of the dorms, classroom buildings. Again, very active community. Over 50% of our students at UC Merced do live on campus. So you really are getting that college experience with our soccer field right outside of the buildings here for the basketball courts, and then we'll finally have our Olympic-sized swimming pool. Next slide, please. All right, so once you decided that you're planning to commit to UC Merced, you will be registering for your courses via the UC Merced portal. Just know that you will be receiving communications from your academic advisor by June, and you will be selecting your courses prior to orientation. So new student orientation takes place throughout June and July, and you will be selecting your courses prior to that. So they will send you the recommended list, and this is where you can correspond with your academic advisor to ensure that you're selecting the right courses for your intended major. And it'll all happen through your My Registration link in the UC Merced portal. Next slide, please. And then following the course registration in early June, towards the end of June to mid-July, we will have summer orientation where you and your parents or guardians are welcome to attend this one-day orientation on campus. This is essentially that last event for you to ensure that you have all of your ducks in a row. So essentially, do you have your financial aid set? This is where you can meet your professors, your advisors. This is where you can talk with any of the other departments on campus, like from our student disability services to dining services, just any office that you want to ensure that meets your needs so that you can succeed and thrive here. So registration does open April 15th and it does close June 1st. And just be aware that we do offer sessions in both English and in Spanish. Next slide, please. And then lastly, just another huge list of date and deadlines. And again, this is all available in your portal as well. So again, April 15th, the first day you can select which orientation date suits you. Again, so if you're for sure committed to Merced, you know you're going to come, definitely try and enroll sooner rather than later. That way your most optimal dates are available. May 1st, last day to say yes, submit your statement of intent to register to commit to UC Merced. Hopefully you'll be a Bobcat for the next 4 years. May 5th, this is a statement of legal residency priority deadline, as I mentioned earlier. That way you're not paying $15,000 on top of your tuition. May 9th, analytical writing placement exam, also known as the OPI. So all UCs require the OPI, or what it would be considered is their entry-level writing requirement. So this is a way for each UC campus to know which writing class you will be placed in. And there are actually ways to be exempt from the OPI exam. So if you have taken AP English, Language, or Literature and received a 3 or higher on the AP exam, you are exempt from this exam. That means you already meet the entry-level writing requirement. Therefore, you're not placed in the lower-level English class. If you received a 30 or higher on the ACT English Language Arts or the combined English writing portion, you're exempt. If you received a 680 or better on the SAT evidence-based reading and writing portion, you are exempt. If you received a 5 or higher on the International Baccalaureate, higher level English, you're exempt. And if you have taken a transferable or UC transferable English course at a community college or university and received a C or higher, you are exempt. And if you didn't receive those high scores or grades, we do encourage you to take this exam. This exam will be administered at one of the larger public schools in your school district or area. And this is actually a quite easy exam. I did take the exam. It's only a couple hours. It's a Saturday morning. So for all of you seniors, when's your prom? Hopefully it's not May 9th, but don't worry if your prom is May 9th, because it's a relatively easy exam. It's just an essay. And honestly, take the exam, because if you receive a passing score, you are saving time and money. So if you receive a passing score, you're going to be placed in the high level writing class. You skip a whole semester. So definitely, if you are required to take it, sign up ASAP. And then June 1st, a lot of deadlines. So this is when your housing preference or residency exemption form is due, when your financial aid documents are due, orientation registration deadline, as well as math and chemistry placement exams. So unlike the writing exam, the math and chemistry placement exams are administered online. So in your portal, you'll just click on those links and it'll take you to the exam, and it's only one sitting. So you can only complete those exams in one sitting. And then mid-June is when your advisor will reach out to you to register for courses. July 1st is when your official records are due. So your documents, your transcripts from both high school and or community colleges you have attended, and it's postmarked. So as long as your documents are postmarked July 1st, you're good. And then July 15th, when the official test scores, like your AP exam scores, are due. And then early August is when your proof of immunization is due. So again, making sure you have your vaccinations. And then August 1st, very important deadline. If you want to waive that $2,200 health insurance, be sure to submit your health insurance waiver by August 1st, if not sooner, in case there are any follow-up questions our health center may have for you. And then mid-August is when your tuition and fees are due. Typically, this is also when you receive your financial aid. So maybe August, you're like, woo, I'm balling. You got your financial aid award package. You got all that gifting. You're like, woo, I got all this money. And the next day, it's all going to pay off your student fees and tuition and fees. And then move-in weekend is August 22nd to 23rd. So that's a Saturday and Sunday. And you actually don't start classes until that following Wednesday. So from that Saturday, Sunday up until Wednesday, we have a huge move-in weekend party, essentially, like a welcome weekend, I should say. Any of you ever been to a party at Target? You're like, what? That concept sounds weird. So Target, the store Target is UC Merced's favorite store, and the Target in Merced shuts down just for UC Merced students. So during the move-in weekend, we'll have discount shopping at Target. We'll actually have a DJ, free food. I know, weird concept, but really fun. And then this is also an opportunity for you to meet with all of our clubs and organizations, as well as any other departments on campus. So just a time for you to really get acclimated to the university, as well as your roommates, your dorm mates. All right, next slide, please. I do want to mention our Welcome Center is available for tours every day except Sunday. Just keep in mind that we are a public university, so should you do want to visit campus on a Sunday, it is an open space. And we have a variety of tours Monday through Friday, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. And then most Saturdays will be at 12 p.m. And if you're interested in attending a tour, please do visit through our website for tours.ucmerced.edu. Next slide, please. And I always say the best way for you to know if a campus is the right fit is to visit, right? You can read about it, you can attend webinars like this, learn more, hear from your peers. But for you to really know if this is where you're going to be happy and enjoy your next 4 years, you got to visit the campus if you have the opportunity to do so. And the best way to stay connected with us and to learn about our important dates and deadlines, as well as life at Merced, check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, follow us. We don't follow back. But this is a way for you to know what life is like at UC Merced, as well as stay connected. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out to our admissions at ucmerced.edu email, as well as our direct phone number there. And now, I believe this is our last slide. So if there are any, and now my colleagues and I, we look forward to answering your questions. Again, congratulations, everyone. This is an exciting time. We look forward to hopefully seeing you on campus in the near future. And then also check out our website, admitted.ucmerced.edu. This is another primary way for you to stay connected and to know the important dates and deadlines. So everything we just discussed here will be displayed there on that website, as well as our events on campus, and as well as other important notifications regarding financial aid and or housing. All right, so now we'll begin. So as Ricky mentioned, please submit your questions in the Q&A box. Please do not repeat or duplicate the question. So if we don't not get to your question first, do not copy and paste it multiple times, as it will clog up the queue and may take longer to get to your question. So just copy and paste it or type it in once and we'll do our best. So the first question, can undocumented students apply for the Blue and Gold scholarship? So this is a great question. So it is not a scholarship. So the Blue and Gold is a Blue and Gold opportunity program, and you're not necessarily applying direct for it. When you're technically applying for Blue and Gold, or we know if you're eligible for Blue and Gold when you submit the California DREAM Act. So yes, undocumented students are eligible for Blue and Gold's opportunity plan because it is a state-funded, institutional funded grant. And for those who are residents, when you submit your FAFSA, that's how we know if you're eligible for Blue and Gold. I already have 29 UC transferable credits that I earned at a community college for the GETC requirements. Would this put me in as a sophomore? How does it work? So this is a great question, Brooke. So if you have any UC transferable credits, hopefully you have already input it into your UC application, but yes, you want to submit those official transcripts before the deadline, because a lot of the times, which would be July 1st, the deadline for official documents, you want it, because when you're meeting with your advisor, you're meeting with them mid-June. So this is when your advisor can have an idea of which courses we will accept, as well as which ones will meet the requirements at UC. So you really won't know which level, like student level standing you're at until you're meeting with your advisor. But yes, submit all your official documents, because what's good news for you, Brooke, is that you'll be a semester ahead with just 20. I mean, you have 29, so definitely more than a semester ahead. For math and chem exam, do I have to go on a campus to take it? That is a great question. So no, the math and chemistry placement exams are administered online. So the analytical writing placement exam is in person at a local high school in your area, but the math and science, the chemistry ones are online. You can only take it once. What score do you need on SAT math to be exempt from the math placement exam? So that's a great question. So for the math and chemistry placement exams, they're not utilizing SAT, ACT scores, or AP exams. So essentially, whichever, I always encourage students to take it. Again, I'd say a lot of STEM students definitely want to take it. So you'll know if you're exempt or your placement by the level of math and science. So if you already have high advanced level math and science, definitely take the exam, because you will do well. Hopefully you do well, right? So unlike the English one, there are no ways to be exempt. Can we take the OPI test before or after May 9th? So the OPI exam, which is the analytical writing placement exam, it is only offered on May 9th. So, and that's for all UCs. So unfortunately, if you're unable to take it, then you will be placed into entry-level writing course, which is not a bad thing. Can I take the OPI exam online? No, you cannot take the analytical writing placement exam online. It is administered in person only. Can we defer admission? So this is a great question. So if you have been offered admission and you hope to defer it, you can submit a request. So you must submit a request to the Office of Admissions, so admissions@ucmerced.edu. You will want to include in the subject line, as well as the body of the text, why you request to defer it. And again, it is case by case. So just be aware, it is case by case. So technically, yes, you can request, but it is case by case. Maria has asked, when is the Blue and Gold Opportunity Plan due? So it's not necessarily it's due, it's just if you applied for, as long as you applied for FAFSA or the California Dream Act by the priority filing period of March 2nd, you're good. So there is no deadline to, again, you're not really applying for it, it's just you'll know if you receive it, dependent on your household income and your financial aid package. There is no ag science major listed. Is that something that can be created? That is a great question. So as we are a New Year University, we are expanding our programs and our offerings. So students, who are interested in a certain program that is not offered, you can, again, petition. You can hopefully gain a lot of students who are interested in that respective field. But just keep in mind that it's not necessarily within a high turnaround that a major will be created. It does take years, right? Because you want to make sure you have the proper faculty, the resources for that respective major. So it's not necessarily impossible, right? But again, it does take time where you have to, campaign for that major, see that the faculty and our administration know that there is a lot of interest in that ag science major. But there is environmental system science, which I would encourage you to consider, as it does revolve around a lot of renewable energy, especially within the rural area of Merced, and how we're using real technology with farming and agriculture. For incoming students that their family does not fall under low income category, let's say middle income or above middle income, is there any grants, scholarships we can get at least? This is a great question. So if your household income is between $80,000 per year and $176,000 apply for a lot of outside scholarships, but also you're eligible for the middle class scholarship. And you do not need to apply for the middle class scholarship. We'll know from your FAFSA if you're eligible for the middle class scholarship. So again, $80,000 to $176,000. If your household income is above $176,000, apply for a lot of outside scholarships. You may get, of course, scholarships or loans, but the grant money will be minimal. And just know that when the UC application is also a scholarship application. So when you're submitting that UC application, you're also applying for any institutional scholarships as well. So definitely take a look at your financial aid award and you'll see if any scholarships were listed. If I took pre-calculus, would I need to take the math placement exam? So if you have pre-calculus, definitely take the math placement exam because you would have high level math knowledge going into the exam. So yes, and especially if you're interested in the STEM field. So to follow up that question, if you receive a high grade in like an AP exam, you would actually be placed into a higher level math, right? So if say you're taking AP calculus like A, B, or BC, then yes, you would be placed to a high level math class. But if you don't really have like any of the AP exams, or you don't have any community college UC transferable courses that are equivalent to math courses at Merced, then you would definitely want to take that placement exam to see where you place it, if you're placing pre-calculus at Merced or calculus 1 or calculus 2.
Hi everyone, this is Ricky, your e-recruiter and moderator tonight. I just wanted to do a real quick time check. 7 o'clock has rolled around and that was our original scheduled ending time for this webinar, but we still have some really great questions rolling in. So we will go ahead and give this until around 7:15 so we can continue answering those questions. Iona can go ahead and take over again. And we also have some excellent advisors online also answering through the chat Q&A panel. So go ahead and keep sending those questions in and we will give this another 15 minutes. Back to you, Iona.
Perfect, thank you. Yes, and I just wanted to clarify again, I know we're getting a lot of math and science placement exams. If you received a score of 3 or higher on the AP Calculus by April 1st, 2019, you do not need to take the math placement exam. And then if you were scored a 3 or higher on the AP Chemistry exam by April 1st, 2019, you do not need to take the Chemistry placement exam. And then for any of you who are taking International Baccalaureate, if you received a 5 or higher on the IBH Mathematics exam, you do not need to take the math placement exam. And then as I mentioned earlier, if you've taken any UC transferable college courses like pre-calculus or higher level calculus, you do not need to take the math and science placement exam. And then same goes for if you have taken any college preparatory chemistry or high level chemistry course at a community college or university, then you'd be exempt from the chemistry placement exam. And then if you have any further questions about this, we do have our natural sciences student advising where they have this on their webpage as well to provide more clarity. Brooke has asked, I already took an English 1A and 1B, highest level of English at my community college, and its credits are UC transferable. So I still need to take the May 9th writing exam. So no, Brooke, if you have received a passing grade in any UC transferable English composition course, then you are exempt from the writing exam. Good for you. Yeah, saves you a whole Saturday and you skip a whole English course. This is a great question. So how does it work to be waitlisted at another UC but accepted at UC Merced? And I just saw that Laura has answered this question. Thank you, Laura. So I'll quickly just summarize what she mentioned. So if you're waitlisted on another UC campus, just know that your waitlist notification, first you have to opt in and say, yes, I'm interested to be on the waitlist. But just know that you won't be notified if you're admitted off the waitlist or really the status of your waitlist until after May 1st. So you definitely want to commit somewhere by May 1st, be at UC or another university system. Just as long as you're committed somewhere by May 1st. Say you commit to UC Merced and you're admitted off the wait list at another UC, you can cancel your cert at UC Merced, but just know that it is a $250 non-refundable deposit. So unfortunately, you cannot take that $250 deposit to the other UC campus. So just be aware, non-refundable $250 deposit. However, there is a deferment. So if you were able to apply to the UCs with a fee waiver, you can get your $250 deferred. So essentially, once you get your financial aid mid-August, it'll pay off that deposit fee. And if you find that you are unable to pay the $250 on the spot by May 1st, and you're not eligible to get it deferred, you can request to defer that $250. So we do have an appeals page on our admissions page where you can request that. Are you automatically considered for a Cal Grant when you submit FAFSA? This is a great question. So again, it really varies on your household income. You are considered for a variety of scholarships and grants, but when FAFSA and our office packages your financial aid, or I should say financial aid office packages your aid, they'll take into your household income, assets, and what have you, and those factors into if you're eligible to receive the Pell Grant, Cal Grant, Bobcat Grant. How do we receive our financial aid packages? So again, that is all through the UC Merced portal. So just by kind of reviewing your UC Merced portal, and again, our financial aid office, they do have a nice tutorial on how to review your financial aid. And they're another great resource to reach out if you continue to experience trouble with finding your financial aid, but you'll see the breakdown there. And then for your financial aid, you will have to accept your loans. So grants are automatically accepted, but loans. So any loans that are offered, you have to accept. You have to accept them or decline them. And then whichever you do accept, you will receive those loans around August before tuition is due. That way you'll have the means to pay tuition and other expenses. My question about course registration was, are courses readily available to students? Or will students get closed out of courses and have to wait for following semesters, hence delaying graduation? This is a great question. So as long as you're not failing your courses and you don't need, you don't need a certain prerequisite to get into some courses, you will be fine. So for course registration, our advisors will actually have courses recommended for you already. And then it's up to your due diligence to ensure that, yes, this is what you're planning to take for your intended major. And at UC Merced, we are rapidly expanding. We are building more classroom and office space, so we do have that space to accommodate our students' needs. Will we still be placed in higher level math if we are in AP Calculus BC but not yet taken the AP exam? So that's a great question. Because you haven't taken the AP Calculus exam by April 1st, 2019, I definitely encourage you to take the math placement exam online by June 1st. Since the score from your AP exam in May 2020 unfortunately will not count. Celeste has asked, would I be considered a transfer student if I take general ed classes in the summer at my local community college? Am I a high school student going in as a freshman applicant? Also, does Merced accept all UC transferable credits from community college? This is a great question. So if you plan to take any community college coursework over the summer, you are still considered a freshman applicant. You are considered a transfer applicant if you take courses after you graduate in the fall or spring enrollment. But since you've graduated, you're taking courses in summer term only, you're still considered a freshman applicant. And yes, any course that is UC transferable from all community colleges, you will be accepted at UC Merced. So if I'm in AP Stats, I don't need to take the math placement exam. This is a great question, D'Angela. So it depends when you have taken the AP Statistics exam. If you're currently in AP Stats, you definitely want to take the math placement exam because your AP exam scores will not be available in time for us to know if you're exempt for the math placement exam. So again, anyone who wants to be exempt for the math and chemistry placement exams, you have to review and confirm that your AP exam scores are prior for April, 2019, are from last year, not this year. What are the most popular extracurriculars? This is a great question. So it really varies on your personal interest. Again, we have over 250 different clubs and organizations, everything from multicultural to music, arts, dance. A lot of our most popular events on campus, of course, are Coachella. Dance is really huge, like hip hop dance. We have a huge event called Dance Off, where a lot of dance crews on campus battle. It's really fun. We battle out. We have professional judges. And then again, a lot of events could be around Greek life. About a little under 18% of our students are part of Greek life. Again, you'll definitely find your niche, your home away from home, as long as you really make an effort to explore and really see what our community can offer you. If I took a political science class, AP Government, through Fresno State in my high school, can I transfer those credits here in Merced? Yes, you can transfer those credits as long as you submit the official transcripts and, of course, passing grade. So another math placement exam question. AP Calculus AB exam was May 2019. Is that eligible or high CT score on math? So yes, as long as you received a 3 or higher on the AP Calculus AB exam in May 2019, you're good. You're exempt from the math placement exam. Oh, another great question. Are there any study materials for the placement exams? This is great. Honestly, all of your high school curriculum, your coursework really prepares you for the placement exams. So as long as you really absorb all the material, take it all in, you're good. And I also want to reiterate, I apologize everyone, AP Statistics does not exempt you for the placement exam. Only AP Calculus, AB, and BC. Again, we'll include the link of the Math and Science placement exams in your responses. My apologies, everyone. Is the Blue and Gold Scholarship only offered for freshmen? So no, actually, as long as you're reapplying for FAFSA or the California Dream Act every year, right? Because you need to reapply to continue receiving financial aid. And if your household income is below that $80,000 per year, you can still be eligible for the Blue and Gold Opportunity Plan. And again, it's not a scholarship, it is an opportunity plan. What would happen if you do poorly on the math chem exam? So if you do poorly on the math and science placement exam, then you'll just essentially be placed into the lower level math and chemistry courses. So pre-calculus and then chemistry 1. So for our students who are taking AP Calculus BC AB, you definitely, ideally, right, because you're already in that higher level math class, you would place high enough where you wouldn't have to take pre-calculus. You could just already be placed into our Calculus 1 or Calculus 2 courses. Are there any specific classes that all freshmen must take? This is a great question. So we definitely encourage our first year students to start taking those entry-level English, writing, math, and science courses. So typically you'll be taking your general education type courses, those introduction courses. And what's nice is your advisors, they plan out your first semester schedules to kind of essentially have that nice balance. That way it's fully stacked in like STEM courses, a lot of heavy lab science, math and science. They'll have a nice balance. So again, it's good for you to do your due diligence to continue corresponding with your advisor when you are creating that coursework plan. Sabrina has asked, I took a college English 1A class that is transferable, but it wasn't put on my application since it wasn't given until second semester. Would I still be able to add it and then be exempt from the English literary exam? That is a great question. So since you are currently taking that class this semester, we most likely would not receive your official scores in time. However, you can, I'd say, reach out to our office and email us. And if there's a way that your community college or university that you're taking that course at, depending on if they're on semester or quarter system, can notify our office of your grade, your official grades. So Sabrina, email our office. Can the CASP English and math tests be used as an exemption for the placement exams? No, sorry, anonymous. So the CASP, typically what's administered by your high school, no, they cannot be used as an exemption. So again, if you're looking to see the options, I encourage you to visit our naturalscienceadvising.ucmerced.edu. And then for the English one, you want to visit the OPI and actually University of California Office of the President, so UCOP, they're the ones that oversee the English exam. And then this is another question regarding statistics. Again, statistics wouldn't unfortunately not meet or allow you to be exempt from the math placement exam. So if you are taking a statistics AP exam or a statistics college course. So again, only pre-calculus or calculus. Are there practice tests for the placement exams? That is a great question. So according to our Natural Sciences Advising website, there are only 25 questions on the math placement exam and 31 questions on the chemistry placement exam. And they are timed exams, and you have 30 minutes or less in the math placement exam and 60 minutes in the chemistry placement exam. So again, you only can take it once. So just be aware that you are prepared for it. And since it is at June 1st, on June 1st, definitely just review the material that you do have from your curriculum that you've taken throughout high school. And then definitely check out our Natural Sciences webpage for further information.
Hi everyone, this is Ricky, your moderator again. Just real quick, we are starting to slow down with those questions. So we will give you just about another 5 minutes or so and start to wrap up around 7:20. So just again, about 5 more minutes left for some more Q&A. And Iona, I'll go ahead and let you go back to the questions and then wrap up. Thanks.
Thank you, Ricky. Yes, thank you everybody for joining us. I hope you found this to be beneficial. But yes, we'll continue answering your questions in the last couple minutes. What happens on placement exams? So we kind of already discussed that. Again, for the English one, that is administered in person, and you will receive mail notification from University of California Office of the President, which public schools in your area are offering this exam. Again, it's only offered once on a Saturday, May 9th. It tends to be in the morning, and it's honestly just like an essay. I thought it was much easier than the SAT essay. So all of your English courses will prepare you for this exam. And then for the math and science, they are administered online for UC Merced. So you have, whenever you submit your SIR up until June 1st to do it. So that way, unlike the English one, you have a little more time to prepare and what have you. What are your least and favorite things about Merced? This is a great question, Ali. So growing up in a major city, Los Angeles, I really enjoyed being in Merced. There was zero traffic, well, not zero, but much less traffic than you would in a major city. So I'd say it's definitely a slower pace and like easier living. There weren't a lot of those external factors like traffic that really hindered me from my studies. So I really liked that I could really focus on my studies and really explore the community and essentially participate community service, give back to the community. We were actually one of the UCs that was awarded for our community service. So we have a very altruistic campus that really does support our community. We are all about think global, act local. Like we don't have any big corporations like Starbucks or Panda Express on campus. We really are about supporting our local mom and pop restaurant. So that's what I love about Merced. And then least favorite thing, That's a great question. As of now, there's not really much. I'd say I'm a huge foodie, so you're not going to get as much food options as you would in a major city, and that goes for like a lot of smaller cities. So that's really my only gripe with Merced area, that I'm not going to get the huge variety, but there is a lot of good food in Merced. I will say there's a really awesome Thai restaurants in Merced. There's a lot of good Indian food in Merced, and we actually have our own local community garden in, like near the downtown area. So that's really cool about Merced. Yes, as our university expands, so does the city. So it's really exciting to see more businesses and commerce coming in. So all of you seniors, we're re-renovating the mall in the area. They're adding more commerce and businesses. So it's really exciting to see more options in that sense. But hey, you also save a lot of money. So I found I save more money in Merced versus living in a major city. How is your public transportation? That is a great question. So part of your tuition and fees actually covers our university bus system. And you also have access to the City of Merced bus as well. So I thought transportation was awesome. Even though I had a car after my freshman year, I did take the bus a lot because I saved money by not paying for a parking permit, and it's just easier to get around sometimes around the area. So public transportation was pretty seamless. We do have a lot of different bus lines as well. What can you do around town on the weekends? Recommendations. This is a great question. There are so many things. As I said earlier, we host over 700 events, not just on campus, but also in downtown, the city of Merced. It was really fun, a huge like carnival, like a fair in Merced. So it's really fun. There's like kind of your flea market, you have your rides. So I don't know if any of you are Stranger Things fans. I hope there's some Stranger Things fans up in here, but it kind of reminds me like the mall in Merced is kind of like Stranger Things, kind of like the old 50s, 80s mall, neon lights. Yes. So you definitely have that small town feeling. Our downtown area, very cute, quintessential downtown feel. I actually brought some counselors a couple weeks ago from Hawaii to visit Merced, and I took them to the downtown area, and they actually were like, oh my gosh, this looks like Main Street USA at Disneyland. I was like, wow, that's awesome. So again, a lot of fun things. It just really depends what you want to do in your free time. I'll tell you this, any university you go to, there will be that social scene. It just depends what you want to do. And our university, we actually do a lot of fun trips. We take our students to Yosemite. If any of you are Dodgers, LA Dodgers or Giants, San Francisco Giants fans, we take our students to the Dodgers versus Giants game up in the Bay Area. I actually got to do a backpacking trip in Big Sur. Our Yosemite Leadership Program, they actually provide a lot of the camping equipment. So if you don't have any camping equipment, they'll rent it out to you. We do like whitewater rafting up at Sacramento River, which I did, a lot of fun. So again, do not worry. There's a lot of opportunities available. It's just as long as you take initiative. And then we'll answer one last question. How is campus safety? Now, this is a great question. And we actually do have publicly available our campus safety statistics on our website as well. And so at UC Merced, we have what's called these blue emergency pools every 100 feet. So because our campus is a bit removed from the downtown area, I personally felt safe. There was not a lot of transients coming to UC Merced, and we do have our own City of Merced Police Department. So we actually have our own police department on campus. And if you were to ever feel unsafe, you could always press the blue emergency light button. There's poles all around campus, throughout the dorms, the cluster buildings, and we have our own police officers as well as community service officers that can escort you throughout campus. So even when I would leave the library late at night at like 2, 3 a.m., I still felt relatively safe. So just know that there are community service officers roaming around campus throughout all hours of the day. So yes, we got student workers that are working night shifts, roaming around campus to ensure the safety of the university, as well as our official City of Merced Police Department right behind the engineering building. All right, so that ends it for this evening. I just want to say thank you, everybody, and I'll allow Ricky to wrap up and say our final farewell. So congratulations. We hope to have you on campus in the near future.
Hi, everyone. This is Ricky again, your e-recruiter and moderator for tonight. On behalf of the University of California, Merced, and all of my wonderful colleagues who have been online with us tonight, we thank you so much for joining us. A big thank you to Iona for being our expert speaker and presenter tonight. So much great information shared. We hope that you got your questions answered. Also, a big thank you to Lonnie, Ashley, Laura, Janelle, Jennifer, and Dustin for joining us tonight as well and answering those questions in the Q&A panel. I would just like to remind you that you can also take a look online for future events and webinars that we will be having, as well as to find the recording for tonight's event. That website is admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. Again, admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. You can also follow us on social media for important updates and insight of life at UC Merced. Thank you again so much for joining us. Good night.